Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
Oh, hi, hang on.
And joined by Nacho.
Oh, Nacho Fry. Oh, no. He's good. The mic's
I think he
on.
just wants his own microphone.
You want to say hi, Nacho Fry?
I think he wants to eat it, though. I mean, he wants to have a microphone to eat.
So we're actually joining each other over distance.
But we switched places.
Nachos, you know, stop it. Oh. Hang on.
Yeah, hanging on.
You guys. Oh, my God. So,
No,
I'm
I can't
in
hear
Maryland.
you that well when you're not talking in the microphone.
Yeah, well, that happens. I'm in Maryland with Nacho. Nacho is very stressed for some reason, and he keeps trying to eat the pillows from the couch, and I hide them, and then he crawled over me to get back at them. There are like 50
Yeah, the
chew
couch
toys up on the
happens to be
couch,
full of pillows.
and he wants the pillows. The poor guy is real stressed
It is
out.
bad. He does try to like molar gnaw into them, so that's
Yeah.
it requires attention. Otherwise,
will-
we'll have holes in our
They will
pillows.
have holes. Stop it. No. No.
Oh, Nacho.
Oh, honey.
So to those listeners, to those fans, to those members of the squad
Friends of the
who were
squad.
wondering how Nacho's doing as an only dog, not so well.
Nacho, stop it. He's very stressed out.
He's
He's very stressed out.
he's trying to add so much chaos that he seems like three dogs.
So let's just get into it. And we'll come back to the rest of the stuff. So I am in Maryland with Nacho. On Monday, Ingo, you drove Nacho up, and you guys were here Tuesday, and we're recording on Wednesday, and you and I swapped places today, and we'll talk about the logistical feat later. But I have been with the 6 dogs in Florida, and you have been with Nacho here, and today we switched. And I think
Yep.
the 6 dogs down there with Cheddar and Remy have been a lot of work, and I think Nacho is more work alone than those 6 dogs were together.
He's certainly giving everyone a run for their money because he's very
Yeah,
demanding.
he is.
He's a needy boy right now.
All right.
I mean, I feel bad for him, and he has flashes of super being a great boy, but he's also
Yeah.
really stressed.
All right. So let's go back to the beginning. The cocktail of the week this week is the Mind Eraser, which I feel like I could benefit from. It's a good name, right? I know.
Want some. Yeah, it's one of the greatest cocktail names with Suffering Bastard and Painkiller.
And I should have
It's
made
really good.
one. It is equal parts coffee liqueur like Kahlua, vodka, and soda water. So it's sort of fizzy, like a White Russian without the cream. It'd be real good. I'm going to make one when we're done.
I like it. I like the Mind Eraser concept, though. That is
So,
brilliant. That's what you
yeah,
need
like
sometimes.
now would be great. You want to do quick administrative corner?
I mean, if you can just make something up for me, that would be great. Because I love administrative
So
corner.
this week I sent out all the missing medals for people who contacted me. So if you contacted me, you should probably get them within a week. If you have not contacted me and you don't have your medal, if you're not like in Australia or something, let me know and I'll send you another one. But yeah, that's administrative corner.
If you're in Australia, it might still be on the
It takes
boat.
a long time to get stuff to Australia. And New Zealand.
Yeah, once there, it never comes back.
All right, let's do dog updates. Nacho Fry, what the heck, my guy? He's so stressed today. He's been like, he just has started doing this pillow thing. But like, I was teaching class tonight, and he was like crawling on top of me during class, and then like looking at the camera. He's just, I don't know why he's so stressed out today. He's been here for 3 days.
I know, he went up and down for me. I mean, it's been a curve. He was real stressed as soon as we arrived, but that sort of made sense. He'd been in the car for 20
Yeah.
hours with me.
You want to talk about your road trip?
And then
You can. We have a Ingo. I can hear a
Sure.
very loud dog panting into your headset.
oh, that's the Brody.
Tell him we are
I feel like
professionals
if I'm not touching him, he'll
and we
professional dog
need
wranglers.
better audio
And
quality.
yet,
No, Nacho.
Fair
Nope.
enough. I feel like if I'm not touching Brody, he's gonna
All
start
right. Well, we
barking.
can just.
So we'll do the
I'm going to
experiment.
be yelling at Nacho the whole time, so it's going to be one of those podcasts, I guess.
People are gonna be yelling and yelling. Yeah, I mean the road trip was. I mean, it's getting to be quite routine and unremarkable. I left at about 5:30 with Nacho. Gave him breakfast at about 8:30 in the car, some rest stop or some gas station. He's a really good car eater and car drinker, and we made good time. And I got in about 12:30, probably close to 12:40, somewhere around there, before one. Um, and he ran around the yard a lot, and then he also did that thing where he was trying to eat the
Mm-hmm.
pillows and was just was just sort of very anxious. I think
Yeah.
it's anxious. So I put him in his crate, and then he
Oh,
settled down and
Nacho
went to
Fry.
sleep. Not for as long as I wanted. I think he was up by 7. I think he was up at 6, to be honest. But and then during the day he settled down, and then I took him for a couple walks, and he was sleepy by the end of the day. And then, do you want to talk about the logistics today
Whew.
because they're almost inconceivable? I mean, there's like game shows that require logistics of this, that reward logistics of this complexity. It's like that. What was that? The Greatest Race or whatever,
So
the race around the world show.
Ingo drove his car up to Maryland, but he flew back down to Florida because it would have been dumb to drive another 20 hours. Plus, I had to come to Maryland today anyway. Like I had my ticket booked long ago, and somebody needs to be down with the dogs in Florida while I'm in Maryland. So we clearly had to swap places today. So there's a direct flight from DC to Key West, and then that plane just turns around and flies back to DC. So
It's literally
it's
just
the
the
same
same
plane.
plane. It is not just a return flight.
Yeah,
It's
so
the
it
same
leaves
plane.
DC at
It's
8.
great.
It gets to Key West at like 11, and then it leaves for DC at noon, and it gets here at 3. And so, so Ingo has a car here in Maryland, and I was in Florida. And so what we did is Ingo drove the car in Maryland to the DC airport and parked it and got on the 8 a.m. flight and arrived in Key West at 11, where I met him in the parking
Yep.
lot of the Key West airport and handed him the keys and gave him a hug and then boarded the plane that he had just come off of. I mean, we saw each other for what, like 5 minutes in the parking lot?
It was the greatest time of the day. It
Uh,
was so good. It
I
was
had to
epic.
vote because I had forgotten to request a mail in ballot and I'm not going to be in Florida next week. So I voted and then I was like, I have 15 minutes before Ingo's flight is supposed to land. So I went to Taco Bell and I got 2 orders of nacho fries. And I was like, Ingo, I have nacho fries for you because, you know, they were going to be warm since you're meeting me in the parking lot. And so Ingo ate his nacho fries and I gave him a hug.
I was
I,
very happy. I was very
yep.
appreciative of the nacho fries.
Because we were like, because Ingo forgot to bring a key to my Jeep with him up to Maryland so he would have it when he landed back in Florida. But the timing worked that we had about 5 minutes where I didn't have to be through security yet and you were out of the airport, which would only work in Key West where you just walk off the plane and then you're out of the airport. Um,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
so we got to give each other a hug and spend 5 minutes in the parking lot. And then,
Exchange nacho fries. That was significant
yeah,
event in my day.
I gave you the keys and
I mean, exchange. Transferred
yep,
to
a
me.
box of nacho fries and the car keys, and then I got back on a plane and came up here to Maryland. In between, we had 2 people stop by the house and love on Nacho C. Fry um, while you were gone and before I got back, and that went well. He's just retrieved one of the pillows I've been
Yeah.
hiding from him. Oh no! Don't unplug the podcast. No wait. All right, I've put Nacho in his crate. I also made myself a mind eraser after I did that, and it was delish.
That's a great idea. All I did was go get a beer, which is, my mind eraser.
That's pretty good too. So anyway, yeah, it was quite the logistical feat we pulled off. Where the timing worked out great that I could hand you car keys and I didn't have to hide them somewhere, and we got to have a hug.
My only regret because this would have been cool, is that I should have found out what seat you were going to be in, and I would have put a note in the back, the seat back in front of your seat saying, "Hi, Jen, welcome to this flight," because it's the same plane, and I was just getting off that
It
plane.
is
So it
very,
would have been very
it's
funny.
very much a thing you would do for sure.
Oh, yeah, I just didn't know which seat you had, and if I put it in the wrong one, it gets weird. Someone's going to be weirded out.
So anyway, there you go. That was our logistical mastery today. Everybody got taken care of. Oh, and just tying this in with dog updates. So Cheddar today had his dental cleaning, which went great. They didn't have to pull any teeth. He did fine under his anesthesia, but he had to be dropped.
He's very sensitive to
Yeah,
anesthesia.
what'd Faith call him? A cheap date?
He's a cheap date. He just was knocked out from very little anesthesia.
But he didn't have any problems. But he had to be dropped off and picked up. So this morning I dropped him off before I went to the airport, and then Ingo picked him up after he got back. So it was like I was like, "Don't call
Yeah,
me because I'm going to be out of the
and
state when he's done with this surgery."
speaking of Cheddar updates, where's he going
Going up to
tomorrow?
the ophthalmologist. The poor guy like couldn't have breakfast today because he was having this dental procedure, and then he also isn't allowed to have breakfast tomorrow. I think in case they have to sedate him for this eye. It's not a procedure; they're just checking him to see if he's a candidate for his cataract surgery. So he's going up to
Yeah,
Miami
I mean, we'll
tomorrow.
see.
Uh, which
I'm bringing a bag of food.
yeah, for sure. He is allowed to eat as soon as it's done, right?
Yep.
So, uh, but since I am in Maryland, we have the dog sitter, the Florida dog sitter, coming to visit the squad midday since Ingo's going to be gone for more than 6 hours. It's 6 hours of driving plus however long he's going to be at the vet, which could be an hour and it could be 4 hours, and we just don't know.
They would not specify. They said it's just something that the doctors do between surgeries, these tests. So
Yeah.
they don't exactly know when they'll get to him.
But it's good. I mean, we should know tomorrow, then, probably tomorrow, if he's a candidate for the cataract surgery or not. And if he is, we'll get it, and that would be great. And if not, given the current status of
Well,
things,
no.
he'll go up for adoption. I mean, let
Yeah.
me tell you guys, the last couple days, uh, look, with Nacho out of the house in Florida, so you brought him up here to Maryland on Monday. You guys left Monday
Monday.
morning. So I had all day Monday and all day
Yep.
Tuesday without Nacho. Everybody is way more relaxed. Do you notice that now that you're back? I mean, I know things are disrupted, but do you feel like it?
They're all sleeping.
That's true.
No one's and no one's climbing on me or trying to eat the pillows. So we may know whose fault that is. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, Remy was much more. Everybody just seemed much more relaxed. Um, because Nacho, I was listening to our podcast last week, and you were calling him a bowling ball, and the bowling ball's not knocking everything over anymore. Um,
He's a bit of a furry bowling ball.
so so that removed 2/3 of the conflicts, which was the Cheddar Remy Nacho triangle. Two sides of that triangle are gone, and so we had
It's not a love triangle. It's a conflict
conflict
triangle.
triangle. So we still had Remy and Cheddar, and they've been doing pretty good. Um, Remy is doing a great job, I gotta say. He is like trying to play with Cheddar a little bit. Cheddar doesn't really know what's going on. He has been quite patient with Cheddar. There have been times where Cheddar's, because he's blind, like walking around and like running into things, or Remy will get stressed, and Remy leaves. He's like, I'm gonna go in the kitchen right now. Like you can tell he clearly is like avoiding getting more stressed, which is not a thing that he was doing before. So major points to Remy for not causing any problems at all with Cheddar.
Yeah,
That
that's great.
said,
That's great. He just now went into the kitchen by himself
yeah.
too. So and Cheddar's on the couch. So this may be a good thing for him to get a habit
Yeah,
of.
I mean, I think, the thing that was worrying me last night, like Cheddar was zonked out in the living room and Remy was zonked out in the bedroom and it was bedtime. And I'm like, I'm not going to wake anybody up, but Cheddar could totally come wandering into the bedroom and step on a bunch of dogs, including Remy, and I don't think Remy would take that well, right? Like if Cheddar has stepped on Hops and Brody and Guac, and they don't really like it, but they're just kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Remy, I think, would react to it. And so at some point last night, Cheddar got up. It was probably like 1 a.m. And I heard him drinking and he was walking around. And I was like, okay, this is the chance to put him in the office, which I did because you can close the door. And then he scratched at the door for like 5 minutes. And I had a little panic attack because I'm like, I can't deal with it anymore.
No.
But so it's not that Cheddar's doing anything wrong, but he is he's Velcro dog is not the right term for him. He wants to enter my skin and exist inside my body. That's how much he wants to be with me. All
He might be a parasite,
yeah,
alien parasite.
all the time. There's unless if he's sleeping, then he's not trying to merge into my skin, but the rest of the time he is. And he's kind of jealous. So like if I'm petting Remy, while I have personally been very stressed, I have outwardly been extremely soothing the last few days, just being like, you guys are all doing such a good job. Like, Remy, I'm so proud of you.
I think they can tell.
And
I think they can tell.
so I'll be like petting Remy, who's coming to me for reassurance because he's stressed out and he wants to make sure he's doing the right thing. And then Cheddar's like, I please will insert myself between you and Remy. And I'm like, don't let the faces get next to each other. Don't let the faces get next to each other.
That's the worst. That's the worst thing.
And Cheddar is kind of always seeking me out and needs attention. And I think if he were an only dog or if there were two dogs, like it would be fine. He's like a needy dog and that's okay. But I definitely was noticing like yesterday that Hops and Vink and Guac and Brody also need attention and they're not getting any of it because all of my attention was going either to Cheddar or to managing Cheddar and Remy. So that's not to say that he's not going to get better, right? It could be that like with more settling in time, Remy and Cheddar will continue to be peaceful and coexist okay without needing quite as much intervention. And Cheddar may settle the fuck down. He's not settled right now. He's very needy right now, but a big part of that is certainly that he's just anxious. And we'll see how much he just settles in. But I don't think it's a tenable situation if things stay like this to have him as a permanent resident. What are your thoughts about that, Ingo?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we would have to separate out a dog or separate out two dogs from each other, I mean, I don't think that's a permanent solution, right? The dogs should all be able to coexist without our having to worry that they'll get into some snit. And that's always been sort of a guiding principle. And we've had fosters where they clearly did not qualify for that for one reason or another. And we've said, they would be better served in an environment without other dogs, without the possibility of a snit, without
Yep.
stressing out our dogs.
So it still remains to be seen. And, I think tomorrow we'll at least know if this is a decision that we're going to make right away or, if he needs the surgery, he's going to be around for a few more months with us.
Yeah, and it may change if he can see. I mean, who knows, right? He's very tentative and stuff when he can't see, and he steps on people because he can't see.
Yeah. So I have two things to say about that. One of them is, if he gets this surgery, we talked a little bit about this last week. Like he'll need to do a couple weeks of antibiotics and then the surgery. And then there's like several months of follow up after the surgery. So he'll be with us for a while. And that may be enough time for everybody to settle in. And, by taking him as a foster, we committed to getting him through all of his medical stuff. And that includes the surgery if they can do it. And so he'll be here for a while and we'll figure it out. If he doesn't need the surgery, then I love him a lot. But it seems like he'd currently be much better off where he's, more of the focus, where he's got someone who can give him way more attention that he can get in our house. And, even though like, sure, if we just stuck it out for like 6 months, like maybe it would work out. But like we got a lot of other care to give the other dogs in those 6 months to just kind of wait and see. Right. And
it's not fair to have like Hops miserable because we're not petting her enough. For Guac, looking at us with those big eyes and not getting the attention he needs, right? That's a long 6 months for those guys.
And they are definitely noticing it now. Like Brody is
Hmm.
more stressed. Hops and Guac are feeling kind of neglected. You know, Vink is Vink. Like nothing, nothing bothers her.
Well, we have a story about Vink with her update, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So I, you know, we haven't made any decisions yet, but just like from the last couple days, I'm glad that things are easier. But if he does not qualify for the cataract surgery, my feeling is we probably will put him up for adoption very soon. I think a lot of people want him. And the other, you know, I said there were two things that I had in response to your comment. The other one is that we've kind of been trying to figure out how old he is. When we picked him up, they said 10. And then after he got neutered and he had this really strong reaction to the anesthesia, the thought was like, well, maybe he's a very, very old dog. And that's why he's having this reaction. But then, like, last week you talked about him counter surfing. And as he's settling in more, he's sleeping way less, which is, you know, he was just sleeping all the time for the first week, which some
Yeah.
dogs do when they're really stressed out. So he's sleeping way less. But he also is like jumping up. Like I had him out on the porch last night and he was like jumping up on the glass because he didn't want to be out there and like
Oh,
scratching at
geez.
it, kind of bouncing around today. So I think I mean, he's an old dog, but I think he's like 9 or 10. I don't think he's 12 or 13
So
or
it's back to
14.
the sort of original estimate or whatever he came with, which was 10-ish.
Yeah, I mean he's got a white face and his teeth are worn, you know,
Yeah,
like
nubby.
um so he's older, but I don't think he's 12. I don't know a lot of 12-year-olds. I mean some, right? But they don't have like the kind of ups and bounces that he does. But I
It's so
think
weird that we just don't know
yeah.
that there's just no way to date.
And I think, you know, you were talking about his blindness. Like, he's tentative with everything because he's blind, because he cannot see where he's going. And it makes
Yeah.
him look like he's moving like an old dog because he's really tentative. But that's only because he's blind. It's not because he actually is like a tentative walker. Once he knows that he's like out in the open and fine, he's kind of bouncing and prancing around. So
Yeah, it's true.
I think what we'll have is like a very healthy 9 or 10-year-old dog who's blind, which is a really good kind of like maybe I'm interested in special needs dog starter pack. You know,
I mean, he's not diabetic. He doesn't need, anything. The medicines are cheap. He doesn't
he's not
really
even
need
on any
anything
medicine. I guess he's
expensive.
on one eye drop.
Yeah,
That's it. I
the-
mean, he doesn't need a
that's
lot
pretty
of
good.
care. He just needs a lot of like attention and he needs support, right? He needs somebody who's going to be patient with him and, create an environment that's good for him. It's definitely more work than having a not blind dog. But,
Yeah,
I think a lot of people see, even if you get a dog who's got some problems, like they can be great. And he would be, I mean, he is a great dog and he would be a great dog for anybody. And
I
he's,
just, I
go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. No, I have a concluding remarks.
All right, I was just going to say, like last week, we were talking about, what is the right house for Nacho, and the right house for Cheddar is entirely different. He could be in a house without a yard. He could be in an apartment. He can do stairs, okay. He needs to learn to do them, but he's not. He doesn't have any physical limitations that keep him from doing the stairs. He can be alone for a decent amount of time. Like he needs love, but he is fine just like sleeping. So, doesn't need a lot of activity. He could just be a dog that you take out, take for a couple short walks and a couple pee breaks and hang out with him in the living room. That'd be fine for him. So he could go to like a way wider range of homes and be really happy compared to Nacho, who needs, a lot more like activity and stimulation and, has more restrictions in a way.
That's right. I just want to say your experience with him is so different than my experience with him. He is like walking away from me. I'm calling him, and he's walking. He'd rather walk into the bushes, into the Eureka palms, than come to me right now. So it's a weirdly different. He's not Velcro to me. He's indifferent to me, and he'll accept the bowl of food if I push it towards him, but not from my hand. He doesn't like a treat from my hand. He prefers it on the floor. He does not. he does not react to me the way he reacts to you, which is just to say he's not Velcro with me.
I recommend
So
using a higher voice. Hi, cheddar
I'm
cheese.
I've tried. I'm doing the like play voice in the high. That's all I can do. I'm as high as I can get. As high as I can get. It's not the voice. It's he likes you and he hasn't warmed to me yet because I'm the one who sticks him in the car and picks him up and I don't
Well,
know.
I'm also awesome.
Yes, that's right. He has correctly assessed that you are awesome. The downside is now he won't leave you alone.
That is true. Well, he's
So
gonna
he's still
have
like
to.
me.
He's gonna have to get his attention from somewhere because I'm gone for a week. So
Yes. Well, you'll just have to FaceTime with him. That's all.
yeah. All right.
I guess we don't need the video for him.
Let's let's tell the Vink story. So on Sunday, uh, was it,
This is embarrassing.
it
I
might be
gotta say,
might have
I'm
been
very
Saturday.
embarrassed about this.
No, it was Sunday. So
It was
Sunday,
Sunday.
Ingo was downstairs working out on the erg right
Mhm.
around dinner time. So I fed all the dogs dinner at like 5. And then everybody needs to go out after dinner. And we take them in shifts because you can't just let all 6 or 7 dogs out at once. So I took the first shift out, which I think was like Guac and Nacho and Vink.
Hmm.
And so the 3 dogs come downstairs. They can all.
Maybe Brody too.
No, no,
I'm
no.
not
It
sure.
was just 3.
Oh, stair dogs. They were
Yeah,
stair
they go down
dogs.
the stairs. And of course, like Guac and Nacho immediately run up to Ingo, who's trying to erg. He's on the rowing machine, and they're like, "Hello, yes, hello." And
And
I'm like,
it's fine. I mean, I can handle the interruption, but it's fun.
and
Like
then
little
Nacho's like
circus.
trying to sneak around the fence into the neighbor's yard, and other dogs want to go out. So I like herd Nacho and Guac back up the stairs, and then I bring Brody, and then we get Remy. Got to do the
And then hops
exchange.
in the
Dogs.
elevator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Chatter. So everybody's getting their turn, and we're doing everybody's put Nacho in the crate, and then do this, and then move everybody around. And so
Then I'm done working out. I come up,
you come up,
shower.
you're showering, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk all the dogs who walk, which is generally at this point Remy, Guac, and Nacho for varying lengths.
And
However,
sometimes Nacho twice. Yeah.
sometimes Nacho twice. So I do all the dog walks, and at this point, so it's like 5 when I fed them dinner. It's 5:30 when I bring them out, and it's 8:30 when I'm back from all the walkies.
Yeah. And we
Done
may
with
have
everything.
had dinner in the
No, we hadn't had
intermediate
dinner
period.
yet. No.
Okay.
So I do all the dog stuff, and I'm getting ready to make dinner. I'm like, oh my god, it's 8:30. We need to have dinner. And I get a call from Wayne, our neighbor next door. This is the neighbors who have the pool that have invited us to swim in the pool, and they're not there. They're down for a couple weeks now. They have a couple people with them. I think somebody's brother and sister-in-law. So they're visiting, and so there's 4 people over there. And Wayne calls, and he calls fairly often for little stuff, right? Oh, can I show you
Yeah, he's like,
this? Or you guys want to
can
come
Ingo
over for
help me move
drinks?
this?
Yeah,
Or, yeah. Do you guys need some dirt? Yeah.
yeah.
That sort of stuff.
It's always lovely to hear from him. And I was like, "Hey, Wayne, how's it going?" He's like, "Good." He's like, "It's good, Miss Jen. I just wanted to make sure you knew that Vink's over here. We're having a great time with her, but I wasn't sure if you knew she was here." And I was like, "When the fuck did Vink get over there?" And the answer was,
What?
when I took her out at 5:30. She had been there for 3 hours. She went around the fence while I was wrangling Guac and Nacho. She comes into the pool. They're all out there in the pool. She gets in the pool with them, swims some
And
laps.
they love her. She's the freaking star.
Oh my
over
God.
there.
They were so excited. I mean, I heard them talking to a dog in the middle of the evening. And I was
Oh,
like,
really?
I didn't know one of them brought a dog. That's weird. They must have a little dog that they got on the plane. No, they're like, oh yeah, she went swimming like 4 different times, and then she watched the sunset, and then we
came
brought
upstairs.
they brought her in the house and had dinner, and we're like feeding her steak, and then
Steak.
they're
She
like,
had T-bone.
Yeah.
I didn't have T-bone.
they sent home a literal doggy bag with like a T-bone steak bone and some steak
Two.
bits. There's two of them in
Two.
there.
giant T-bone steak
So I
bones.
show
I
up.
was jealous.
They were giving me the bag, and I was like, guys, I'm a vegetarian, so we never have meat in the house, and I'm gonna have to make sure that Ingo doesn't eat some of this steak. And like later in the night, Ingo's like, I ate some of that steak out of Ink's doggy bag. And I was like, I told them you would
Bag
eat
of
some.
steak in the fridge. I'm gonna eat it.
They sent a bag of steak home with her. I'm in the house. She's like wet and like running around to all of them. And I was like, I talked to them for probably 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, all right, Vink, it's time to go. And she starts backing away from me. Like when I was a kid and I'd be at my grandma's house and my mom would come pick me up and I'd hide behind the couch, like hoping that my mom wouldn't find me and I'd get to stay. That's what Vink was doing. She's like, this place is great. There's a pool. Everybody pays attention to me. They give me steak.
It is so embarrassing that we didn't know she was gone. Since
3 hours.
she's always sleeping somewhere though. She's usually like around the corner sleeping.
She was gone.
She doesn't participate in our activities. She's just off somewhere doing her thing. So 3 hours, you don't really know that Vang's not there.
She could have run
She's so
away.
sneaky.
She could have been abducted.
Oh,
We had no idea she was
she
gone.
could have been in Miami, Jen. She could have made
She
it all
could
the
have
way to
been.
Miami.
Someone could have tossed her in the back seat and driven her up to
Oh, she
Coconut
would have
Grove.
hitchhiked.
Oh
She
my
would have
God.
hitchhiked. It wouldn't have been
It was
tossed. She would
so
have been like,
embarrassing.
please take me to Miami.
And I went in the house and she's like, hi, Jen, this is my house. Check out all these people. They're so nice.
You want some steak, Jen?
3 hours. She was just over there swimming in the pool, getting loved on, watching the sunset,
Oh my
eating
God. She's
steak.
like a bad teenager. She's like, I'm going over to the neighbors. They're cool. You
The-
guys suck.
Rhonda, the Wayne's wife, she's like, at some point I brought her out on the front porch to just see if maybe she wanted to go home, and they have a little bench out on their front porch. She's like, and I sat down and she just curled up and laid down on top of my feet and went to sleep. She's like, this,
Hank,
hi, new mom. That's where I live
little
now.
devil. She is such an anarchist.
Ah.
It's just like, this is the best
The
guy.
most epic escape ever. But they're like, yeah, at one point she tried going, the next house over. And so, we kept an eye on her. We made sure she didn't go over
One
there.
further away. She's
Yeah.
like, maybe they have even more steak.
Going on an adventure. And they're like, no, Vink. This is as adventure as it gets. Come have some steak.
I am mortified because that means they were taking better care of Vink than we did.
Which, look, we bring this up because we are very much not proud of this happening, but it is a sign that the
Really
current dog
bad.
situation is very not okay. Right? Like, this should never happen. I'm not at all surprised that it happened given the current situation, but it means that, like, we've got way too many dogs. And it's not just the number, right? It's the configuration. Like, these dogs are too much for us to deal with.
There's a couple dogs that demand too much attention, and it robs everyone else of supervision, bank, and attention. Hops, Brody, Quack.
Yeah. So, anyway, Nacho is visiting a potential adoptive home tomorrow. I don't want to say too much about them. If they do end up adopting him, I'll give a little more detail, but they're going to stay anonymous, I think. So
It's
Nacho,
enough that you think there's a on paper a chance that this is a match.
it is nearly an ideal household. They have another dog. They have a 9-year-old golden retriever. And so the only question is, how does Nacho get along with that dog? Like, if there's no tension, they play well, it's fine. I think it will be great. I mean, it seems like a really fantastic match that would give him a lot of happiness. But if there's any tension with that dog, then we're not solving any problems for him. And we will wait and see. So we're going to go visit them tomorrow. And Cheddar will find out tomorrow if he's staying for a few more months or if we'll also get him listed up on the great website. I expect Cheddar not to get necessarily as much interest as Guac. So, reminder, if you're in the vaguely DC area and you're maybe interested in him, you apply to Adopt with Great. And, let us know if you're thinking about doing that just so we kind of know what to expect. But
Cheddar, now with no fleas.
that's right. Flea free. He's
Much
like,
improved.
smells good now.
Yeah.
Doesn't smell weird anymore. I go into
Space
my
is
office
dirty.
and I'm not like, ooh, locker room. No, it smells fine now.
Yeah. Poor guy.
So that's that. And the only other update is we are going to do the, I got some good information. I think Dr. Christine Wong, friend of the squad, I
Yes.
think it was her who tweeted at me and said the test that we have to do, the way, because I was like, they're doing this test and I don't really understand how it works. The way that the test works apparently is that you measure the cortisol and then you give them this injection, and the injection is supposed to spur cortisol production. It's supposed to make your adrenal glands produce cortisol. And so if the adrenal glands are working right, you give them this injection and then they should have more cortisol at the end because they have been stimulated to produce it. And if the adrenal
Yeah.
glands are not working right, then they will not have the right amount of more cortisol after the injection. So it's you measure
This
it,
is
you inject.
Remy.
This is for Remy. Yeah.
Do we have a date for that?
No, so I talked to Dr. Lisa, who's the vet who's taking care of him, I think on Monday morning, and they're just waiting to get that drug to do the test. They had to order it because they don't have it in the clinic. She thought it might even come in on Monday. I haven't heard from them yet. But the hope was that we would do it this week. So maybe on Friday he'll get to do it, but we're just waiting for that to arrive.
That's not in Miami. That's just Marathon.
That's just marathons. That's an hour away, 45 minutes. So, yeah, hopefully we'll have updates next week on that for him too.
Okay, I may have to take Cheddar out. He just woke up
Oh, okay.
and rolled off the couch. Cheddar! Cheddar! Oh, he laid back down. Never mind.
Okay.
We're good.
You have anything else you want to add to dog updates?
Dog updates. No, I mean everyone seems to be holding it together from my angle here.
Good.
But yeah, they're all, it's a bit of a juggling act.
All right. Let us move then to ramblings, where I have some very profound updates for us.
Oh, excellent.
All right. Last week we were
Oh, I
talking.
do have one dog update. I'm so sorry about this, but this is how my brain works.
This is classic Ingo.
Just as a little note, this morning I had to get up early for the flight back, be at the airport by 7. And, I had an alarm set for early. And half an hour before my alarm was set to go off, Nacho fell out of the bed and woke me up. I mean,
Thump.
just full on, just slipped off and went thump so loud that it woke me up. And I thought, well, thanks, I guess, for previewing the alarm. So we did get up early, but Nacho still is rolling off things.
Oh, Nacho.
Just wanted to drop that there because I think it's such a classic move.
That's a good addition to dog updates.
He's such a doofus.
All right, you ready for ramblings?
Yes, sorry.
No, that's good. That was a good update. Last week we talked about the fish scandal again and how they're going to start using both X-rays and polygraphs and voice stress analysis to catch cheaters at the fishing tournaments. And
I mean, I think it seems like the X-rays and the checking for weights is the main way. The polygraph seems different and not as direct.
I agree. That said, we were talking about the upcoming fishing tournaments that are using this technology, and one of them was the Blaster Brawl, and we spent quite a lot of time last week investigating
Blaster.
I have new updates. So for those of you who don't
This
remember,
is so good.
Blaster is a product. It is a spray that is a lubricant
Penetrant.
and a penetrant. It is for dealing with rusty things. So several people have shared good information because we were wondering, how do you pronounce it? What is the apostrophe? Because it's B''Laster. How do you say that? Is it Belaster? Is it B-Laster? What's the apostrophe for? I have two things. All right. I got to switch over my
great.
notes here. All right. First, friend of the squad Phoenix says, "Hi Golden Ratio. I actually know about PB Blaster because they were one of the sponsors of the Cleveland Guardians radio baseball cast. The radio ads were in line with your research on their website." Which I guess is it's a lubricant and a penetrant. Per their ads, the apostrophe does not get pronounced. So PB Blaster.
Okay.
Okay. The PB in PB Blaster, which is the main product, doesn't stand for anything. It's just like a part number from when they first created it was PB Blaster.
Oh, it's not lead.
No. So
Okay.
so the PB doesn't mean anything. And then friend of the squad Lisa emailed me because I was like, all right, I understand that I just say Blaster. I don't say the apostrophe, but why is there an apostrophe Like, what's it for? So a friend of the squad, Lisa, shared this amazing article called The Legend of PB Blaster by Eric Schilling. And I have an amazing excerpt from it that I want to read.
Okay, this is great.
So I skipped the
research.
first few paragraphs, but it sort of picks up here. And he writes, I can't remember my first encounter with PB Blaster, but my enduring memories of it from childhood are like bad PB Blaster commercials. We're trying to loosen a seized nut and keep soaking it with WD-40 before someone in the garage, probably my uncle, has the good sense to grab a can of Blaster. We spray Blaster on it, wait a few seconds, and then loose like magic. Blaster, my dad would say with a shake of his head. Blaster, my uncle would repeat in solemn agreement. There was never enough Blaster. Using it was calling in the big gun. If Blaster didn't work, nothing would. That meant the unpleasant business of bolt cutting. We knew it was an Ohio product, but never bothered to investigate beyond that. You could read the label, overstuffed with all kinds of information and claims, but all it'd really tell you is that it had good vibes. You could tell that whoever made this stuff was more indie than corporate. It was lightning in a bottle, and I figured it was best not to ask too many questions. Until, recently, I did. Quote, that little insignia, the apostrophe, is just a talking point. Randy Pinder, president and CEO of the company, told me last month. It has a crazy label. At one point, 32 or 33 grammatical or typographic errors on it. So there you go. The apostrophe is to do exactly what we did, which is go, what the hell is that apostrophe for? How do you say it? What is it called? Why is it there? There's no reason. It's just a fun thing to make you talk about it.
Oh,
It means
they
nothing.
Got me.
Yeah, they got us both.
They got me.
So it's pronounced
I feel
Blaster.
catfished.
And it's pronounced Blaster. And the apostrophe doesn't mean a damn thing.
And if we had a product that we could read their label and be absurd and grammatically creative.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Nice work, PB Blaster.
So-
you did it.
So now we know how to say it and that the apostrophe doesn't mean anything.
And I now think I should get some.
I mean, it
Because-
sounds like a good thing to have.
Dude, if WD-40 doesn't help and PB Blaster does, I want the PB Blaster.
Lubricant and penetrant.
W40 is like the silk glove. Maybe we need a hammer sometimes, the PB Blaster.
Well, I support
Sometimes
you getting
need
some.
sophistication. Yeah.
So there you go. That's the ramblings for this week.
This is good stuff.
And then,
Good stuff.
yes, for Taste of the Keys, I just wanted to talk about our final Fantasy Fest experience. We recorded last week after we went to the locals parade and right before we went to the actual parade. And I was like, I don't know if we're going to the parade because it starts in an hour and 20 minutes. And you're like, let's go. And it actually started in like 3 hours. The schedule said an hour and 20 minutes. And it just took them a while to get going. We had time to the parade should have started half an hour ago. Let's go get a frozen Irish coffee from the bar a mile away. Walk there,
Yes.
get the frozen coffee, walk back. And the parade still hadn't started yet.
But there were people with lawn chairs set up
Yeah.
to watch the parade. They must have been there 3 hours early
Yeah.
for a parade that started an hour late.
And it was not necessary.
No,
like they were
it's not
sponsored.
necessary. It's Key West. It's not New York.
So we went in costume, and that is what my little taste of the Keys is about. So on the drive-in, we're listening to the local radio station WXKW. Used to be called the X, and we will just refer to it as the X. And
That's
we've
right.
talked about it before, where sometimes you hear somebody's Skype call or YouTube videos, or
There's been dead air.
10 minutes of dead air. They're drunk often, actually.
It's a feature, yeah. They get
yeah.
drunk and then they broadcast, yeah.
And so they were doing a live broadcast from the parade at the stand with the judges or whatever.
The grandstand.
The grandstand.
Jen, it's the parade grandstand. Every parade has a grandstand
Yep.
that features local celebrities and judges.
Yeah, so they are doing a live broadcast, and also it is being piped out to the crowd around the grandstand. So if you were listening to the radio, you would hear it, and also you can hear it if you're walking past. So our costumes this year, I was Pennywise the Clown from It.
You should be proud of these costumes. You really should.
I'm really pleased. I mean, I was just looking for costumes
Yeah,
for myself, and I found a great Pennywise costume that I got, and I loved it. And I was like, it's always fun to do a couple's costume. What could Ingo be? And
I love being the sidekick. I mean,
you really
this should
do.
surprise no one.
You legit love it.
Oh,
But Ingo always
yeah.
wants his face covered, his head covered. So he always goes for
Ideally.
mascot costumes. And I was like, well, there isn't one of those, but you can be Georgie, the little brother who gets murdered by Pennywise the Clown at the very beginning of It. And
The kid who goes into the sewer.
who goes in the sewer. And he's the whole thing of that story and the iconography from either movie is that he's in a big yellow raincoat and he goes out like at the end of a rainstorm with a paper boat that goes down the sewer, and Pennywise the Clown loops him in and kills him. So we got Ingo a big yellow raincoat from Amazon. It was like a $10 costume, and we got a couple red helium balloons. We actually got 4. So Ingo had 1 and I had the other 3. And it was a great costume. I put the clown makeup on, and it was very interesting because we're like walking down the street, like going to get our frozen Irish coffee, and people knew what the costumes were. And then they would look at me and they'd be like, "Oh, hi." And I would just smile at them. But it's a very creepy smile when you've got the creepy evil clown makeup on. And people would get real scared looking when I flashed them a big smile.
It was very unnerving for them. Yeah.
It was
You
because
had
like
a lot of power.
I usually like if I flash a big smile at someone, it is usually disarming and people smile back, right? I have a thing I have noticed about myself is I have one of those smiles where if like people say a thing to me and I give them a big smile, it makes them happy. Like it's a smile that people respond to. And so I'm kind of used to that, and I smile at people a lot. And it was a very different experience in the costume this weekend where people would sort of recoil a little bit. But we had a good time, and people loved like the combo of us.
I'm 6'2" and you're not.
Yes, quite not. We did run into, there's mostly not kids at Fantasy Fest, but there were a few kids at the parade, and we ran into a family that was sitting on the curb, and the parents knew who I was, and the kid obviously didn't and shouldn't. How old do you think that kid was? 4, 5?
Yeah,
A little kid.
3 or 4. Yeah,
And
little.
and so, we're walking past, the parents like, "Oh, those are great costumes." And I was like, "Thanks." And they're like, "Look at the clown, honey. Look at his Pennywise the Clown." And he's like, "Uh-huh." And I was like, "You want a balloon?" And they're like,
I think
"Oh,
the
you want a
dad did
balloon?
say-
What a great
The
day."
dad's like, I know I should not accept a balloon.
Yeah. But they did take
the
a
kid was
balloon.
just like, balloon.
The kid was very happy about it, and it was pretty hilarious to be like Pennywise the Clown giving a red helium balloon to this like little kid who's like, "Oh, thanks for the balloon." But right after that, we're walking past the grandstand on the opposite side of the street, and the drunk guy.
Yeah, we're not in the parade.
No,
we're
on the sidewalk across the
spectators.
street. The sound man from hell is the name, screen name, whatever, radio name of the guy who does all this live
Self-appointed
stuff.
name. Yeah.
And he yells, this would have been on the air if you were listening, but also is broadcast to everyone like, "You in the raincoat. What are you, the Morton Salt girl?" And we're like, are they talking to Ingo? And the people around us are like, "You guys are from It, right?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're from It." And he's up there like, what are you supposed to be? Are you a duck? And we're like, what's wrong with this guy? And someone else on the stage is like, "No, it's like they're the clown from the Stephen King thing, and that's the kid." And he obviously has no idea what it is. And he's like, "Oh, you're from," and I'm sure he's drunk. "You're from the Stephen King movie." And the lady's like, "Yeah, she's supposed to be an evil clown, but she like looks too cute to be an evil clown." And he goes, I'd watch your guys' remake of that movie. Right? Is that what he said? I think that's the exact
Yes.
quote. "Oh, if you guys are going to remake that movie, I'd watch the remake." And I was like, man, no, there's so many things wrong with that. No. Like pornifying it.
All of a sudden, we're the main character. We were just trying to watch the parade as spectators. And for a brief moment, we were thrust in the main character role. And I didn't like it.
He's like, "Who are you?" And then he figures out who we are, and then he's like, "You guys should make porn and I'd watch." Which I guess
Are
is
you
a
the
compliment.
Morton Salt girl is really dating himself, dude.
Oh my
Come
God.
on, dude.
So anyway, that was our little parade
We did have
experience.
some kids who were like pointed at us and went, "Eat, eat,
I
eat."
I mean they were Spanish speakers.
Yeah, yeah,
Those
they were
yeah.
tourists there. It was hilarious though.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah, I mean there were a lot. It was
They were impressed, not scared. Yeah,
like we've been Ghostbusters, we were the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny, we were Antony and Cleopatra. Like we've done a lot of costumes, but this one by far got the most reaction from people.
yeah. And your makeup was stylized. Like you didn't go for the most creepy either. You just went like you did
Just that little red
exactly
curve and the
enough.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the lips but you didn't like try to make it as terrifying as that freaking clown is in the movie.
I mean,
And it was still terrifying.
his makeup is pretty simple. I didn't do like the white underface, but I
Yeah.
like all he basically has is the like curvy red like line off of his lips. Like that's it. He's just a very creepy guy. And
He's just very creepy. And then there's some things where he has pointy teeth and stuff. I
yeah.
mean, there's a couple of things where he just like ends up real weird.
Yeah,
But
I didn't do those.
you did a good, that was an
No, it was
excellent
good. I mean,
costume.
everybody
Excellent.
got what it was. No one was like, "Oh, you're a clown." Like they all knew exactly which clown I was. So,
Yeah, the red balloon I think really ties it together.
yep. I mean, helium
I
balloons are
had one.
bad, you guys, but I was like, if we have 4 balloons, we are not responsible for the helium shortage. But I did feel bad about
Correct.
it, so that's something.
That's correct.
All right, Ingo, German word of the week.
Well, I was driving all day Monday, as I do, as I've been doing. So the word of the week is driving related. It's Schlagloch.
Ooh,
I
that's a
don't think
good
we've
one.
had Schlagloch. Yeah, and it's pothole. Except the German word is it means the hole that hits you, like
Oh, that's funny.
that smacks you, that hits you with a bat. It hits you. So it's less about describing the hole and more about what it does to your car, which is to just smack it. Schlagloch. No,
That's pretty good.
the hitting hole. Yeah,
Do you
so
have anything?
that's
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
not too theoretical there. Just I was like as I was driving and bumps were going over the bumps and geez, from driving the RV we know like every bump on 95 up and down too. We're like
No
oh there's
kidding.
this. Hey, look, they're testing the stripes on this
Yeah, there
section
is
of
that strip.
this mile where they do like the stripes. Oh, better get in the left lane. Get away from the stripe testing because it's like rumble strips, little rumbly strips.
Indeed.
I don't think I have anything huge. Yeah, as I was doing some laundry this week, I was thinking about the virtues of bleach and how awesome bleach is. And we just ordered some more. We just got another gallon of bleach, but like it smells good, kills bacteria, it fights mold. What do we do before bleach?
I don't know,
It's
man.
really good. I mean, it's powerful. I've put holes in things. I've definitely bleached colors out of my and your things, but
We did have to have a talk that
it's
bleach is
good.
for only things that are white,
Yeah, or
or at least
they end
only
up
my
white.
things that are white.
Yes. No, I had some things. I was sloppy with the bleach for a while around the washer, or would leave bleach drops, I think, that then would
Yeah.
get into the next load. So
Speaking
things
of,
have gotten better. Yeah.
they definitely have. If you're bleaching in this week that I'm away, the shower curtain needs to be bleached.
Excellent. But what made me think of it is we have a Clorox cleaner that's bleach that has bleach in it. Like so if you
Mm-hmm.
spray like the bathroom with it,
Yeah.
it smells like bleach, which smells clean. I don't know what the association is there,
Because you clean
but
stuff with bleach, man.
if something has a bleach smell, maybe like ammonia, except ammonia is gross.
Yeah.
Ammonia smells institutional. Bleach just smells sanitized. Sanitized. So I'm a big fan of bleach. I think I would use it more if it didn't actually mess up all the colors.
I got to say, this is a perfect Ingo Corner discussion point. Bleach. It's really great.
I'm not wrong. I'm just out of context. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with myself on this one.
I think you're great, Ingo. I love you.
I did not have a mind eraser, but I've had a few beers.
That's good.
So, yeah, my mind kind of erased. It's fine. It's fine. Also, I've been traveling a lot in the last few days.
Yeah, it's all a little wild right now.
Hazy.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. Ingo, thanks for doing this recording. We'll probably do... Actually, next
What are you
week I
thanking
should...
me for? I'm part of this team.
I know. I'm just like
I'm
grateful
good.
to, get a chance to talk to you.
I'm totally in on this.
Yep.
I think this is the best. Thank you.
Okay.
No.
And until next time, Slava Ukraini, and don't bet anyone unless they ask you to.
No, don't. Be very careful. You get consent.
Bye.
Bye.